the degree from Columbia University. By the way, I met the athletic director at Columbia University a month ago, spoke highly of you, Peter.
Yes, I saw you guys. You took a picture.
What a wonderful guy.
Nice hydration in the background. You guys are relaxing.
He spoke so well of you and what you've done. And, you know, it was interesting. I asked him, a little sidetrack here. I said, what's your biggest concern as an athletic director? And he said, mental health. He goes, people like yourself that go to Columbia are achievers, and they've succeeded most of their life. And you go to college, and you get a C, and you're not the best football player.
Yes.
So when you had some duress in your life. So you were used to that in college. But he said, Ivy League students, you know, they often go to prep schools, and he goes, then they come here and struggle.
Yeah, it's amazing. Peter Peeling, you talk about getting that hard reset once you get to the collegiate level, because you used to be the front of the pack, front of the class, and now you get somewhere and you're just average. And that still, in a relative experience, is daunting, because you used to just go back on confidence and say, I could figure all this out. And now you're sitting in the class with a genius to another level on the football field. Even though it's the Ivy League, it's still some
There's
good
NFL
talent.
guys in there.
Exactly. Still half a dozen guys who have aspirations to go to the next level. And it's just that reset. And you have to make sure that you go inside yourself, find that confidence, because that reset can also throw you off track.
So, listen, Big Ben's a great player, but I've blamed him a lot for this. I don't need my receivers to be leaders or my backs. But when I draft a quarterback, I care about everything. I'm going to go look at your family. I said this about Russell Wilson. Ivy League and his family. I'm like, I like that. Yeah. I watched Johnny Manziel in college. Money sign. I'm like, I don't like that. I was never a Johnny Manziel guy.
I get it.
So I do care about, you know, Wonder Lake's not the end of the world, but it's 5%. And then your family history and your maturity. Jameis Winston's problems in college, I don't like them. I didn't like Big Ben's early stuff with women. Here's my knock on Ben. Is that whether you side with Ben or you don't, that in itself is polarization. I don't want my quarterback being polarizing.
Yeah.
That's my knock on Big Ben. How does it land for you, all this? I'm on his side. Le'Veon Bell, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I try not to take a side, because none of us have been in that huddle, been in that locker room. But I will say there's enough circumstantial evidence to condemn Ben Roethlisberger of being a bad leader. One, if you want to start in the nearest incident, it was the fact that Antonio Brown took exception to having 168 targets. And Juju Smith-Schuster, who is a respected wide receiver at the number 2 position, had 2 fewer targets than him. And if you know how the NFL works in the pecking order and how we disperse the ball, we sit there and say, why is he having 2 fewer targets this year? You can't say double teams. I have 5 years of greatness if I'm Antonio Brown, and you still found a way to keep that gap, that disparity between me and the number 2. This year, he gets more touches, 2 fewer targets, more yards, MVP, really? And that's what leads everyone to saying Ben takes out his emotions during the game. It's a passive-aggressive approach and tactic, which if I don't like you, well, then things are going to change in the dynamic of how we play the game. And I have examples in my own experience where I've seen organizations do it. A running back in the 16th game has a performance bonus. All he needs is 43 yards. Mysteriously, let's rest you. Let's force you to get rest and not get those 43 yards. We don't have to pay that bonus. I've seen it with coaches, and Bill Parcells and Eddie George, who has started 130 straight games at the running back position and started 2 games, the first 2 games in Dallas. Got into the doghouse, 3rd game. He was on the bench for the first series and then put him out there right after that. Broke the streak. I've seen it with players. Offensive linemen in San Diego who said they let Ryan Leaf get sacked because they just got tired of his stuff. So we're not going to act like this is the first time we heard of petty crimes that actually show up on the football field. Is Ben guilty of that? There's enough evidence to show that maybe he is acting it out.
Go back to your career, Bills, Chargers, Cowboys, Jags. Who was the best leader of the quarterbacks? I'm not saying necessarily the best production. Who was the guy that you felt like, wow, he's a guy's guy. He's an alpha.
Yeah,
guys respect him.
It's crazy enough. It was actually Doug Flutie. You think about it, a guy who's just been through it, been through all of it, the doubts, all the naysayers, the height. He couldn't compete. He actually made a Pro Bowl, was a great player for the opportunities he was given. But he was just a guy that could do it all and could be around all and really engage and really inspire everyone. So just like you said, just one of the guys for every group, every faction.
You know, Marcellus, I always use this analogy. At the end of a Tony Robbins speech, he comes off the stage and he meets people eye to eye. And, that was Obama, even Trump. You can be on the stage and we can all look up at you. But leaders get off the stage and take a selfie with you.
Exactly.
They connect. Listen, Big Ben, Carson Wentz, Aaron Rodgers, I'm hearing pushback. Have we made quarterbacks so valuable in this league and so highly paid that there is a separation? I mean, that quarterback now is viewed. I mean, Kevin Colbert of the Steelers sounds like he's the co-GM.
Right. And you know what's crazy? The quarterback position has always been of just utter importance. We knew that they had to know not only what they had to do with the other 10 guys on the offensive side, but the 11 guys in disguise and defense had to do as well. So we never looked at the quarterback like, okay, you have a lot on your shoulders. We get it. But the personality of the quarterback, I don't think it's changed in totality, but there are those exceptions. For every Ben Roethlisberger story, there's a Deshaun Watson story where you're sitting there saying he plays that position, he plays it very well. Or Patrick Mahomes, these young guys who still are playing that same position, but like you said, they get off of that stage, that pedestal of quarterback, and it's still just a common player. I think these are more of the exceptions than the rule.
And that's a good point.
Yeah,
I think you're right. I think most quarterbacks, Russell Wilson has innate leadership skills. I think Andrew Luck has innate leadership skills. I think most of them do. I want you to talk about free agency. One of the dangers of big free agency, players keep score. I mean, in our business, everybody knows what everybody makes, kind of right? It's in the paper.
You better, or you're not going to make
it. One of the dangers of bringing in the big free agent is that, let's say I'm a left tackle. I'm a right tackle. And I've given 8 years to the organization. I'm well compensated. And then you bring in a left guard, and the position's not as valuable, and you pay him more than me. And I'm like, time out. I'm a tackle, and you're a guard. Is there a danger in big free agency if bringing in a star that creates some resentment if he's never been part of the system?
You know, I've been a part of that. I've been on teams.
You were a free agent.
Yeah, I was a free agent and got paid more than Junior Seau. And that was an awkward hello, because I'm like, I don't deserve this over this guy, a perennial Pro Bowler, All-Pro, and future Hall of Famer. But it depends on the leadership in that locker room because everyone knows that the dominoes fall by birth certificate. It's by production, it's by potential, and it's by birth certificate. So if
what do you mean by that? Timing?
Yes, the time. If you're a young, up-and-coming player, I was 25 years old going up the mountain and actually just getting better every year.
And a position of need.
And a position of need where I'm on a team with Bruce Smith, and he's just the man, and he's been the man. And all of a sudden, because I'm the young, up-and-coming one, I get paid more than the guy who's already been there. NFL model has always been that, either proven veteran or potential guy.
Yeah, but you're smart. You come into a locker room, you probably sensed that.
Oh, yeah. I was on alert. Before I even walked in there, I was on alert, making sure. Let me make sure I put these fires out before they turn brush.
So you did?
Yes, you have to. Just because you know that everyone has been working for something, and especially on a team that hasn't won it all. A lot of times the big free agent goes to a team that is saying, we're going to get over the hump with you. And you have to respect the equity that's in that locker room for everyone who hasn't gotten over that hump. So if you're going to be the savior, first you got to go amongst everyone else and make them feel comfortable.
I talked to an NFL GM a couple nights ago. He said, listen, I think most of these prospects in this draft at quarterback are Bs. He goes, I thought, he's like, listen, I thought Darnold was an A. I think he goes, last year's class was, I thought, really good quarterback, and next year's is good. Justin Herbert at Oregon, too.
Yes.
He goes, this year, they're Bs, but one guy's a little small, one guy's footwork's not great, one guy's inaccurate, the Missouri kid. If you were Arizona, what would you do?
I stay pat. I stick with Josh Rosen. One, I moved up to get him at the 10 spot last year. Two, just to use Cliff Kingsbury's words against him when he was being glowing about a prospect that he never thought he would ever get an opportunity to draft before a regular season game in the Big 12. I don't know why that's the headline. I don't know why they're hooked to his remarks and to his thoughts on how good a prospect Kyler Murray is. Respect to him. But at the same time, I have Josh Rosen here, who was at one time a highly touted prospect.
Somebody moved up last year for him.
Exactly. So why would you now want to shelve that opportunity just to go out there and get another guy at the same thought process?
Couldn't I, maybe, Joy, you suggested this. Here's what nobody's saying. What if Arizona, there's somebody out there that wants a quarterback and goes to Arizona and says, I'll give you 3 picks? Wouldn't Arizona say, I can get – I mean, this is a draft with defensive players. If you go to Arizona and give them your first and another first, the first – bottom line is Arizona needs more than a quarterback. They need dudes.
Yeah, why would you not trade back? You have a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can make a very argument. If you're one of those 4 or 5 teams, and Arizona could be one, that really needs a playmaker at quarterback. Here's a playmaker at quarterback. I mean, he's –
Yeah, I mean, this is the season where we play poker, and everyone is going to try and enhance value or devalue. So right now, this may be a situation where Arizona's just trying to enhance his value. There's a team out there that is going to throw everything at him, and then they're going to sit there and see if that's worth the trade. If not, it's going to incentivize some other teams to say, oh, let's jockey in position, and then you can drop down, as Joey said, and then you could get even more value for dropping down in the draft. But just to swap them out, when there are some question marks about Kyler Murray at the position, I don't think that's a smart play.
Marcellus Wiley, part of the FS. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.